Hey guys, welcome back to Prepping in Progress. I'm Steve.
And I'm Kim.
And today you're dragging me into the kitchen again.
Yeah, we're in the kitchen again. It is all cold and rainy, and so we're staying inside and doing stuff today.
But I wanted to... No.
But with it being cold and rainy and everything outside, we thought it was the perfect day to do some canning. So getting all the kitchen all nice and warmed up with all the oven warming up, and I have the stove going in a minute, but it's going to be fun what we're going to be canning today.
What are we canning today?
I'm making my first attempt ever, y'all are watching, to canning butter.
Sounds good.
So y'all come along, we'll watch me either fail or not. We'll find out together. So come along, we're gonna do some canning of some butter.
So stay with us.
Okay guys, like I said, we're going to be canning butter today, but I want you to be aware we do have a storm going on outside, and we've already lost power a couple of times, so hopefully we won't lose power, but it won't affect our canning, so it's gas stoves and everything. Kind of.
But the lighting may drop.
But the lighting may
have to pause
just
for a minute and then cut back in.
Yeah. But yeah, to say you wanted to mention about we're still going to do the book club, and Steve wanted to do a quick mention about an update on the book club.
Yeah. First of all, Kim's done with the book, 77 Days in September by Mr. Gorham. I'm not. I'm almost there.
Yeah.
In fact, I've downloaded the Audible and I've got a drive today, and I should be done by the end of the day.
Yeah.
However, what we're thinking is to live stream the book review for you at some point next week. However,
so we can interact and talk about it.
yeah. However, we recently switched to a different internet company, which rhymes with
Don't.
live. And oh yes, it'll be as fast as AT&T, and yeah.
It has not been.
Currently, our internet is 740 kilobytes per second, not even megabytes. They have agreed to send a tech out next week to hopefully fix it. And we don't want to do the live stream until after that's up and running.
Yeah,
so stay tuned for information on that. What are you thinking?
Well, I just want to make sure that they know we want to do a really good live stream. That way it's not stopping and starting and having lots of pauses. So we want to make sure the internet's really good to go. The book's pretty much done on my part. We've already started discussing some parts of the book. Still waiting on Steve to finish it. But we do want to make sure that we can interact properly with you guys, especially the ones that have already read it. So we don't want the internet stopping and starting and having issues. We want it having it, us freezing like, But on to why y'all are here, hopefully, is we're going to do a nice, warm, cozy project today because of the nasty weather outside. Canning is something I'd love to do when we can't go outside and do stuff. We can't prep outside. I love doing things that are nice and warm and cozy here in the kitchen.
I'll be honest, with Fridays we always end up doing food projects in the house.
I like doing food projects. I like having a nice good stockpile of food. And one thing that kind of concerns me always is having enough fats, healthy fats in our pantry. That way, we're getting all of our micronutrients. We got our carbohydrates, we have our proteins, but we need to make sure we have our healthy fats as well. So I've done some research, and hopefully we're going to get good results. But like I said, I've never done this before. So I've looked at a few different people who have done it and trying to get different techniques and which one I thought would be the easiest technique that they have. There's one technique that uses a microwave, which I didn't want to use because if we're going off grid, I want to make sure that we could do it solely off of gas and an oven and things like that. So the oven can be substituted possibly for a solar oven. We're using that mostly to heat our jars because this method is not water bath, it is not pressure canned, it is pretty much just using kind of a hot pack method. we're going to have all hot ingredients. We're going to have hot lids, hot jars, hot ingredients, and as it cools, it will hopefully can itself as it cools where Steve's at. That is the theory, and I would like to see how well it works. And so I'm over here waving my paddle around because but like I said, we've got I got unsalted butter, just Great Value brand. It doesn't have to be. If you like really good high quality butter, feel more than welcome to go and get whatever kind of butter you like. I got what was on sale, and because that's where I'm going with, is I'm looking at the prices steadily going up on real butter, not margarine, real butter. And so I want to start stockpiling it when I do catch it on sale and being able to put some back for a rainy day. But like I said, I am doing the unsalted. You can do the same method with the salted butter, but I have read complaints on different blog sites and things about the salt turning out kind of gritty when you use this method. So I'm going with the unsalted butter, mainly because I can always add salt to it. Because say if it calls for salted butter and all I have is unsalted, I store lots of salt, so I can just add it to it later. It's harder to take it out, like I said, if it calls for unsalted butter and all you've stored is salted. So to me, it's easier to do the unsalted butter, store that, and I can always add salt if I need to. But let's get on with the method that they have. So we're gonna try to get turned around so y'all can see. I wonder if I should go this way with it, but y'all should be able to see. All we're doing right now is while we've been talking, I'm preheating my oven to 250, and that's what we're going to be heating up our jars with. Like I said, we're not going to do an oven canning. The end product isn't going into the oven, but we're heating our jars up so we have hot jars. The lids are already heating up back here, and we're going to have hot contents for it. So I've used this method in one other thing, so I'm hoping this still works on the butter. But we're not going to find out today because I really, really like butter, especially being on keto diet. Having a way to have butter in the pantry is always a good thing. So first step, preheat your oven. So while you're cooking up your butter, it can be heating up to the proper temperature. All right, Steve's going to be my lovely assistant today. So we're gonna I'm gonna swing this around so y'all can see what we're doing, okay? Okay, guys. Steve?
Yes.
You gonna help me?
Do you want me to open butter?
Just open butter. We got an absolute ton of butter. And because this is our first time doing it, I wasn't quite sure for the number of jars that I'm going to need, but I've got, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9 jars over there, just because it's what I had on hand quickly. And we got these little jars here, mainly because I don't want to open up a whole bunch of them at one, like a very large jar of butter at one time. So we're gonna be using it little by little. I thought that, but y'all can store it. If y'all use a lot of butter at one time, you can probably do the bigger jars, but we're doing these smaller ones that we can just take out little by little, and we're not, say one jar goes bad, we're not wasting an absolute ton of butter. They even have the little bitty small jars if you want to use those for it. That way you're just using small portions at a time. Oh, so much butter. Check out how much butter we got. So much butter.
Now, I don't know if I'm doing a spoiler for one of your future videos, but a while back, one of our viewers posted a comment on the video where we were making a meal completely out of our long-term food storage. How do you store your oil? This is a way to store a soluble fat to be used in a skillet for frying, to be used to coat a dish for a bake. But I think you're going to get into many more, a bigger video with different kinds.
Yes, we're going to hopefully here soon do different kinds of fats that y'all can store in your pantry. But we wanted to try this one out before we did that video to make sure that this was a viable option for people who are needing to store fats for cooking or just for flavoring and things like that.
Or for ketoing.
Or for ketoing, yeah. So we're going through and looking at different fats that can be stored in your pantry, don't require any refrigeration or anything, that are good for nice long term. Because things like vegetable oils, along with olive oil, they go rancid pretty quickly. Oh, by the way, before we get too far, we've got this on a medium to low heat. You do not want to boil it. You don't want to, well, you kind of want to boil it, but you don't want to burn it. So we've got a lot to have to melt down. And so we're taking it nice and gentle on the butter.
Hey, I want to do a quick shout out. There are two people out there. I know one is probably watching at some point. Christy and Paul. I want to say thank you for everything you've done for my family up north. Appreciate you very, very much, and thanks for watching.
That's sweet. Okay. Oh, good Lord, we still got tons of butter to open up.
I got 3 more boxes, which is 4 times 3 is 12 more sticks. 13, 14.
Good Lord, how many sticks of butter did I buy? I lost track.
You bought all the butter.
I bought all the butter.
It's tremendous. It's fabulous. She has all the butters.
I have all the best butters.
It's going to be great, and Mexico paid for them.
No, I'm pretty sure I did. This one was kind of expensive.
Send the bill to Mexico. I dare you.
Oh, we still got more, don't we? Okay.
I told you I had 2 more boxes over here.
Okay, seriously though. Y'all want to come over and see? For 2 seconds, we'll show what this kind of looks like. We're just kind of melting the butter. See? But we're not full up yet. Yeah, we're not full up yet on it, so we're going to keep filling it up. I may need more jars.
Can I dip some bread in there?
Oh, some melted butter. Oh, you know, if this turns out well, we might even use it to make like garlic butter or garlic bread or something. If we've got too much butter. But yeah, we're just gonna gently melt it. Gently. We do not want to burn the butter.
Don't burn my butters.
Don't burn the butters.
As your daughter would say, exotic butters!
Exotic butters. My daughter's weird, don't mind her.
She saw it on a package one time, and yeah.
She kept saying it. Every time she'd see, she goes, Mom, are these exotic butters? She was little, so.
That was last year.
No, it wasn't.
She's not that little.
She's still little.
No,
It's okay.
No, she's not.
She's still little.
No, she's not.
Oh, goodness.
She isn't.
So how many sticks of butter was that so far? 4 times. How many boxes did we already open?
Hold on, I'll look in the trash.
Okay. I should have kept track. We might hold off on.
And yes, I'm going to have to wash my hands now.
Yeah.
There's
Okay, that's
3,
4,
4, 5,
5,
6.
So-
6 times 4 is 24.
well, let's stop at 5. We'll stop at 20. It's a good number. We'll probably stop at 20. That way it's a good round number for everybody to keep track of. 26 of butter. Does that sound good?
26 of booba.
And we'll save the other ones for, if it works out your will, we can always refrigerate this one, use this one regularly. Or if this works out really well and we've still got some extra jars, come in and melt down some more. Finish filling. So, but I want to see how many sticks fills up these jars.
And remember, people, Dawn dish soap tends to cut the oil and grease off of anything, including your hands.
We're not sponsored. Stop it.
Hashtag @Dawn dish soap, sponsor us.
Okay.
You know what would look really good in that bowl right now?
What, bread?
Some Augustin Farms onion flakes.
Oh, goodness. No. All right. Check it out. Let's see. 20 sticks of butter. Got it gently melting. So it's not boiling or anything yet. So we're just gently melting our butter. We're being very gentle with our butter. Is that okay?
I'd like to quote one of my favorite movies. I think you're gonna need a bigger boat. Or more jars.
We may need more jars, which that's okay. We try to keep mason jars on hand for days like today where we're just finding something new to do, especially with canning. Because I really do like canning. I don't get to do it as often because it is a long process. This is going to probably be an all-day thing for me. Not the cooking part of it, but you'll see later on what I mean by an all-day thing. Yeah, we're just going to let this melt down. So we'll go ahead and pause it and come back once this gets nice and melted and show you guys where we're at. All right, guys, as you can tell, we're still melting our butter, but we lost power. So we're just gonna keep melting butter on the stove, on our nice gas stove, and hopefully it'll come back on by the time we need to film some more and show y'all some more. So adventures.
Do you want me to hook up the generator and get you some light, or would that make too much noise?
Too much noise. Like I said, we're fine. Like I said, we're using a gas stove, so it doesn't bother me any. Gas oven, gas stove. So we're just gonna keep trudging along, canning butter in the dark.
All right, guys. See you in a bit.
And we have power again. Yay! All right, guys. Our butter is fully melted down. Nice liquidy. Come here, it's like liquid gold. Look at that. Gorgeous. I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. No, we're not sponsored by them either. All right. Now that we've got this melted down, the oven's been preheating, so we're good on that. So we're gonna go ahead and put our jars in the oven. Like I said, it's gonna be 250 for a minimum of 20 minutes. Make sure you leave them in there at least that long. You want the jars hot, and we're going to go ahead and crank up the heat just slightly up to a medium to get it going into a boil, mainly because we want everything nice and hot to make this work. Lid's hot, jars hot, contents hot, in order for it to work. All right, so let's pop these in the oven. Oh, that feels so nice. Okay, I just put them on a cookie tray like this. So, and there I go. And we're gonna set our timer so we know we have put them in there for at least 20 minutes. But we're gonna take them out one at a time as we fill them. So go in a little bit longer, no big deal, but you want them for at least 20 minutes to get nice and hot. And like I said, we're going to go ahead and crank up our gas stove up to about a medium heat so we can get, now that it's melted, we're going to be stirring it a lot more to keep it from burning, but we need our contents nice and hot before we put them in our jars. We need our lids nice and hot, jars nice and hot, in order for it to be able to seal. All right, that's where we at so far, so we'll see you back here in 20, hopefully, when this is going to be hot and our jars are going to be ready.
And we'll let you know if the power's back on or still on.
Stays on. So fingers crossed that the power does stay on for this entire thing. Okay, guys, we've got our butter at a really great little boil. So why don't you come over here and look at it?
They're going to get motion sick.
I know, I'm sorry. Nice boil. Not a hard boil, just a good rolling boil. You can stir it and it doesn't stir it down. Turn this down just a wee bit. My dirty kitchen. But we're just stirring it every now and then, making sure it stays mixed.
And we still have lights. Thank you, Swepco.
Thank you. But yeah, to say we've only got just a couple more minutes before our jars are gonna be done. And so I just wanted to talk to y'all about making sure you don't burn your butter, but you want it to get it nice and hot. So boiling, yes. That's rolling boil, like I said, it doesn't stop when you stir it. So
I may start using that phrase. That really burns my butter.
that really burns my butter. Or the old country one when you like something, that butters my biscuit. But we should have everything that you need for when the jars get ready to come out. So we've got our funnel to funnel our jars. We've got a bowl of water and a rag, which I use using a paper towel. Because just like any other canning, you want to make sure the rim is nice and clean before you put your lids on. Oh, could you get my little magnet? It's right there. Because these are going to be hot lids. On top of the refrigerator? Yeah.
I have it, but
Yay,
you're missing something.
What am I missing?
Are you going to use that to reach into the oven and grab the jars one by one, or are you going to use a pot holder?
No, I'm going to use, I've got this really cool little thing from Ball for canning, and it's for picking up the jars. How nifty is that?
Your 1 minute warning just went off.
I know, a 1 minute warning for my jar. So like I said, we're going to take these out of the oven one at a time because we want our jars to stay hot. We don't want them cooling off. Because like I said, the process is hot contents, hot lids, hot jars in order to get them to can. Because
Sounds hot.
it sounds hot. That's hot. But yeah, 1 minute warning on our jars. But yeah, if I say, just make sure you have everything already set up. We've got our little magnet so we can pull our lids out. Got our funnel. We've got a ladle for getting our butter out. Like I said, some water. Vinegar is also good to use for just wiping the rims. But the biggest thing is, and that's done. You want to make sure the rim of the jar is nice and clean because you may spill a little bit of the butter when you're canning it or jarring it. So we're going to pull out our first jar and try this out. Making sure everything is staying hot. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can stop this from a boil, but you want to make sure everything is staying hot.
Jar out.
Don't put it directly on your countertops. I've got a cutting board here. Hot contents on a cold countertop.
Cracked countertop.
Cracked jar is more what I'm worried about. Alright, so let's come over a little bit closer, guys. Come on over here. See what we're doing. Oh, they still can't see. Okay. There we go.
Our professional camera crew is slacking.
Yeah. He's over there.
Did you wipe the lid?
No, we're going to wipe the lid after we put the contents in there.
Gotcha.
Just in case something spills or gets on the rim where that seal is going to be created, we want to make sure nothing's on there. It's nice and clean. Okay?
Okay.
Let me hold my little jar holder because these jars are hot, hot, hot.
You want me to slide the cutting board closer?
No, it should be all right because I can hold it up like this too.
Okay.
Don't neglect, it's going to be kind of foamy on top. That is your butter fats. Don't neglect those.
I don't think that's gonna.
Woo.
Don't do that. You're at the.
I'm at the top. Just do just a wee bit more.
She never listens.
It's too full, like most of our stuff. Okay, leaving a little bit of headspace. And like I said, when that comes off, it may leave a little bit on the rim. Because like I said, you want to make sure you're cleaning that rim. Because you want where that seal is going to be created needs to be clean. Hot lid, hot jar, hot contents. Okay, and that's our first jar of butter. So we're gonna hopefully maybe hear a ping because my canners out there, we know we live for the ping. And so, all right, we're just gonna keep doing this, getting one jar out at a time and filling them up. Sizzling because the jars, like I said, are still nice and hot. It's like bubbling.
Now, if any of your water or vinegar, if you were using that, were to get in with the butter, would that change anything?
No, it should be like I said, it's just like by accidentally putting some butter on water, it's not going to hurt anything.
Okay.
Just be careful of how hot everything is. I don't want y'all burning yourselves. Now your rings don't have to be hot because the rings are pretty much just there to hold that hot lid down, so it creates a seal. So you don't have to worry about heating up your rings the same way. But these are very, very hot jars, so be very careful. All right, we're just gonna continue filling these jars up, so we'll see you right back in just a minute. All right guys, we're on our last jar and we still got plenty of butter in here, so I may have to go heat up some more jars for the day. But Steve's suggesting that we just eat it. But you can do the same thing about canning and just putting it, and I forgot to use a funnel on that one.
You got skills.
But just eating it and using it, what we have, just put it in a jar and then put it in the fridge once it's cooled.
A great recipe is chopped garlic, chive, add milk, and you've got garlic soup, which is great for the immune system, although the milk does help you build mucus. So yeah, it's kind of a two-edged sword when you have a cold, but it does work.
But we did, what is this, 9 jars I said? Yeah, this is 9 jars here. We've already heard a couple of pings, so I wish I would have caught those on camera, but they were kind of unexpected so soon. But on finger tight, don't over tighten them. Like I said, it's just enough to hold that lid in place. Remember, don't try pressing down on them. It could create a false seal on it. You want to make sure it draws that heat in naturally to seal it up. But yeah, let me show you how much butter we've got left over. So after 9 jars, not a ton of butter left over, but possibly enough for a few more jars.
Or I could eat it. I've got bread. That's a dipping sauce right there.
We can throw some garlic and some chives and some Italian seasoning, and we could make garlic. Oop, did you hear that? That was another ping. So they are starting to ping already, and we just finished filling them all up. So they do go pretty quickly. Once they all do kind of ping and go down, we're going to start shaking them to make sure that butter fat stays mixed together and it doesn't separate. But we're going to wait till them to cool down a little bit before we do that, to hopefully so they can keep drawing down to create a good seal. You listening for it now?
Well, one of them wanted to.
Sometimes pop up and down.
I heard it start to suck down.
Yeah, they kind of will do that, but as it draws that heat down into it, they're supposed to completely seal. But yeah, we're going to go grab a couple of more jars maybe, and at least one more jar, but then I'll save the rest and let Steve get into it. So it's 9 jars and we still have plenty of butter left over, so maybe do a full case of them if you have. That should be plenty for 20 jars, maybe with 1 extra, or if you use
20 sticks of butter.
20 sticks, what did I say, 20 jars?
20 jars.
20 sticks of butter. There went another one.
I told you. Boom.
They're starting it. Like I said, it doesn't take them very long with this method to start pinging. Like I said, that hot liquid and that hot jar and that hot seal, it's drawing it down in there to ping as it cools. So we're gonna go grab a few more jars, and Steve's gonna go probably grab a loaf of bread. And so we'll be right back. Okay guys, most of them already pinged and sealed, but I wanted to kind of show you why we're shaking these up. If you look there, that's the milk fat that's kind of separated and settled. So now that they've started to ping, but they're very, very hot, so please be careful. But you're gonna give them a good shake. And you're gonna mix that fat up. And you're gonna do this every couple of hours as it cools for all of your jars.
Now I know we haven't done this ourselves, but in your research and whatnot, how many hours does it take for it to cool and solidify?
Once it's cooled enough to where it's nice and cool to the touch, put it in the refrigerator to help it cool down even quicker. Because they're already sealed, they're good to go. You put them in the refrigerator and it'll solidify a lot faster, so you won't have to shake them nearly as often. But still check them to make sure that they are mixing well. But just every couple of hours until they're cold enough to go into the fridge, and then they'll cool a lot faster. And that's all you got to do to keep them mixed up.
Huh.
Yeah, but you can see where it's separated, and you just give it a good mix, and it all mixes through there, so you're not separating your butter fats. This one's got a lot there at the bottom, you can see. And then just give it a quick, every couple of hours, keeping them mixed together. And like I said, as they cool, they'll kind of stay in place where you shake them. So, and kind of stay mixed together. But like I said, be careful because they are going to still be pretty hot. So. But yeah, just do this every couple hours as they cool, and then you can put them into the fridge once they're cool enough to go into the fridge. And they'll get solid a lot quicker, and you won't have to shake them nearly as much. That's why I said this is going to be kind of an all-day kind of process, because we're having to come back and shake them and come back and shake them and keep an eye on them and just making sure they're not separating. See, I just shook this one, and it's already trying to settle back down at the bottom. Just keep them mixed up. And like I said, as they cool, as you shake them, they'll keep mixing together and cooling together and not staying separated. Separated. I have the words. I know how to word. But all right, guys, that pretty much wraps it up. We're going to be, like I said, putting these in the fridge in a little bit just to help cool them down a lot faster, but not until they are at least room temperature, before the jars being at room temperature. Ooh, I need to put in a lot. As they ping your jar, your lids may loosen up just a little bit. So just kind of keep them on. But yeah, that's canning butter. I think it worked out quite well. I've heard that these can last up to 2 to 3 years in the pantry. So we're going to be testing them out for hopefully next 2 to 3 years. I doubt this much butter will last 2 to 3 years, just because we go through quite a bit of butter in this house. But it is a good way to cheaply stock up butter that can go into your pantry. I've looked at buying canned butter. It is quite expensive because there's a lot that goes into the process. And so, yeah, I don't know if you look at, I think it's Red Feather that sells canned butter. It's a great product, but it is expensive. So if you're working with a budget, look for butter that goes on sale and can it yourself. As you can see, you don't even need a water bather. You need an oven. Stovetop, oven, jars, butter, and that'll be it. It is a great way to budget prep something that your family will definitely need to use.
And guys, if you're off grid and doing this by fire and whatnot, if you have a spring that you've tapped on your property, I'm having an idea for a project myself, taking just a 5-gallon bucket at first and then putting 2 holes in, one on either side, hose from the spring in one side, hose out on the other. She can put her jars in there, and this cold spring water comes in, cools it, and then keeps going.
It's a modification of a spring house.
Because she doesn't have a refrigerator.
It's a modification of a spring house. But yeah, this could easily be done off grid. Like I said, if you have a solar oven to help with heating up your jars, or any other way to heat up your jars, you might be able to even boil them to get them to the hot enough temperature, but I haven't tried that one yet. If you do, let me know in the comments if you've tried any other versions of canning your own butter, or if you're going to try this yourselves. But I hope you guys keep on prepping and make sure it's always in progress, and that's what we try to do. So we'll see y'all back here next time.
Have a good one. We'll see you soon.